Hey there. Hope you're having a great day. So, I've been thinking about something. A few years ago, the first workshop I had actually done, I just had two handlers, two clients. And what we were working on for a 2 week period was blinds, just blind retrieves. We started out that session in a classroom setting, and we wrote down everything it takes to run a blind, to run a good blind, a successful blind. We talked about getting the dog out of the truck. We talked about going to the holding blind. A tremendous amount of material that we put on a whiteboard. One of the classic topics is talking about casting. And in July's session of the Retriever Revolution, a membership that I head up, we made it a casting challenge month based on this exact, that workshop many years ago was the birth of this idea of isolating a specific skill set to improve one of the aspects that are critical to training retrievers. So the entire month of July was dedicated to talking about casting. And I want to take a minute to discuss with you kind of a brief overview of my thoughts on that subject. Well, first of all, we broke casting down into the mechanics of the handler, improving the handler's mechanics, form, timing, clarity of their casts. One of my blogs earlier this year, I talked about the handler casting mechanics, about the balance of weight and extending your arm properly and breaking your wrist so the dog could see you better. And then when we get into the dog mechanics, we talk about what is good casting, really, because these dogs are not robots. You're not running an animal on a sheet of graph paper. Really, what good casting is, in my mind, is a dog yielding to your request or your commands. The dog wants to go in one direction, and you're trying to direct them to some other direction. And if the dog is willing to yield to your commands, that's the beginning of good casting. The next part of that is really a handler's understanding of momentum. Momentum is, the direction and speed the dog is going. Part of the momentum might be psychological, because it's always based on why do they want to go somewhere? What's their motivation? And then how strong is their desire or commitment to go there? Momentum is obviously speed, but it's more in how committed are the dog or is your dog to a certain destination. And then when that destination isn't what you want, that's when casting comes in, isn't it? What kind of drills can you do? And this is the things we talked about. Well, there's the classic wagon wheel casting drills. Most people think of casting wagon wheel drills as lining drills. Well, there's quite a few different casting drills that enhance your mechanics and the dog's understanding of hand signals. There's the earliest one you do, three-handed casting, when you're doing a little simple single T. But then you get into the eight-handed casting drill when you're teaching angle backs and straight backs and overs and angle ins and straight ins. I bet you this one you haven't heard a lot of, a two-handed back drill. It's based on the same wagon wheel configuration as the eight-handed cast. The main difference there is that the handler rotates around the circle, the dog facing him, and every destination is a straight back. So you're working on a dog turning and going straight back and understanding that. How about split casting drill? there's a scenario where a dog doesn't want to change direction as much, and you're differentiating between a straight back and an angle, and you're extending the distance in effort to teach your dog to carry a cast. Pattern blind casting, something we use quite a bit, where you go to your typical 3-leg pattern blind and line them towards a known destination. And again, my pattern blinds are typically like a baseball diamond: first base, second base, third base. So if you envision sending the dog towards second base, for example, and you stop them at the pitcher's mound, and then you give them a left angle back to third base, or possibly a right angle back to first base. Now, in this instance, you're taking the carrying a cast to a great distance, probably greater than you're ever going to expect a dog to cast. But pattern blind casting, another valuable casting drill. Chinese drills. I love Chinese drills for casting purposes, for a lot of purposes. But you get a lot of opportunities. And Chinese drills, unlike tune-up drills, are really more focused on compliance and casting, in my opinion. I bet you never thought of cheating singles. But cheating singles are marked retrieves treated like blinds, and oftentimes the casts you give have true context because they're most likely a get in the water cast, a get back in the water, a stay in the water, and then in some instances, get out of the water. So these are all examples of casting drills. So think about casting. Isolate that task. I suggest you use some of these drills I just showed you. Well, all of our members in the Retriever Revolution, they not only saw them, they had homework all month. So they had to dig in and do some of these drills. And I suggest you do some of the same, because I think it's going to pay great benefits down the road. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.